I'm Kylie.
I'm Corey.
And we are Lit Libations. Welcome.
Welcome to the start of the end of our Bridgerton era.
And this will be fun, I think.
Yeah, because we are the most divided we have been on a book so far.
Yeah, 100%. We talked about it a little last episode. It was so funny editing it so far because we cannot stop. We finished reading it the day that we recorded the last one, so we couldn't stop talking. It's just
not about Gregory.
Yeah. We had to remind ourselves, like, okay, stop. It's not. It was Hyacinth. It was so funny.
I do remember that now. That is funny.
So funny.
We couldn't get through Hyacinth's story.
I was like, I don't even care anymore. I just want to go to Gregory's because Gregory's is like very you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah, okay.
But it still triggers, like, not triggers an emotion. I don't want to say trigger. It still elicits emotion.
Yeah.
Whether you love it or you hate it.
It doesn't trigger like in a bad way.
No. Elicit is a better word.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need to do that, like think about words, because my initial word that I'm thinking of is more than likely wrong.
It's incorrect.
Is an incorrect word.
Maisie update. She's with us again today. She has been showing a little bit more personality. She's walking around the block better because her legs were really weak at the beginning. She's doing a lot better in that regard. She can go up and down the stairs. She just doesn't like going down the stairs, outside at least, because she doesn't like being outside. So it's very frustrating to get her to poop and pee, but she's been doing okay.
Yeah, she'll get there.
Yeah.
Though. Yeah.
She likes to play right after, like, we go out in the morning and come back in. Like, she likes to chew on, like, toys that I give her. Aww. So I got this coaster for her to chew on because she was chewing on the blanket, but I think she's done.
She definitely likes people more than she likes anything else.
Yeah, she likes Brutus at times, but
for sure.
Yeah,
but I feel like she gets like really excited for people.
Yeah, we were all standing in the kitchen, and she came down from the couch, which is her safe spot, which she does not do when I'm home alone. Really? Yeah. So Kylie got here, and she got off the couch and like came into the kitchen to see what's going on. So that's good. Yeah, I need to socialize her more.
Yeah, sure. She's doing a good job, I think, so far.
Go check out our website, litlibationspodcast.com. Go join the Facebook group. We got a couple of new ones this week, I think. Ooh. We're up to 11. Very exciting. It's called Lit Libations Lounge.
Such a contrast to like our TikTok.
Yeah, no one answers the questions. I just let them in. It's okay. We launched our Patreon.
Yay!
Which I don't have. It's not too exciting yet. We just have one bonus episode a month that we're doing. So, and the first one is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. So if that sounds fun or you just want to support us, go join. It's patreon.com/litlibationnation.
Yeah. And I think are we still trying to figure out how to upload videos? Or did you figure that out?
No, I haven't figured it out yet, but we'll get it figured out in the next couple weeks.
So that,
and in August,
and that I think that would be, if we can, that one would probably be good as a video upload instead of just an audio.
Yeah, we could do both.
Yeah, for sure.
Somehow we'll figure it out. Okay. I think that's all I have.
Okay, sweet. And I don't know what else.
Today we are reading On the Way to the Wedding by Julia Quinn.
Woo!
Through chapter 13.
Yeah. How about this? We're going to do the thing. We're going to go through this and you can guess who loves it and who hates it. Just based off of our notes and based off of our
mannerisms.
Yeah, and we're gonna try and refrain from giving like direct, like, we love this or hate this. Okay. And see if you can guess by the end of this who loves it and who hates it.
We'll see how that goes. What are we drinking today?
An edible.
We are drinking water because we had an edible. So we'll see how that goes.
We figured it was time for an edible episode.
Yeah. The last one was part 1 of Colin and Penelope's.
Okay. We had to have one more before the end of this series.
Okay, I think that's it.
All right.
I think that's it.
Let's get into this motherfucker.
Okay.
That can be construed as a good or a bad way.
That's true.
Yeah. I say that for everything. Okay. If I love it, hate it, or if I just am indifferent.
Contemptual sigh.
Prologue. Gregory is running as fast as he can through the streets of London. He had to get to the church to stop the wedding. He had to stop her from marrying him. It was wrong. She was his. They belonged together. He knew it, and he knew that she did too. He is booking it to the church, running into people, trying not to get hit by carriages. He rushes up the stairs to the church and busts through the door. He could barely breathe as everyone turned around to look at him. Don't, he said, don't. He's yelling it, actually. It's more like, don't, don't.
Like whispering it from the back pews.
Don't. Okay.
It's not a declaration.
Okay. He moved his way down the aisle and no one spoke. She looked at him in utter shock. Don't do it, he said. I love you. Don't marry him. Don't do it. He could see his mother and sister looking at him, mouths on the floor in shock. Gregory, why are you doing this? She said. I love you, Gregory responded. Her eyes glistened as she looked to the man she was supposed to marry. The man gave her a shrug, indicating it was her choice. Marry me, Gregory said to her. Marry me. She looked at him, her eyes huge and clear. Marry me, he said one last time. Her lips trembled, but her voice was clear when she said... Chapter 1.
I was about to answer.
Oh my God. I would have cut it. 2 months earlier. Unlike most men of his acquaintance, Gregory believed in love. He had seen all of his siblings were happily besotted with their spouses. Quote, love existed. It was not a wispy figment of imagination designed to keep the poets from complete starvation. Which is a great line. I'm sorry. That's fucking...
Say it again.
Iconic. Okay, hold on. That's a lot of words. Love existed.
Sorry.
Love existed. It was not a wispy figure of the imagination designed to keep the poets from complete starvation.
Oh, I do like that.
Isn't that so good?
That's a good one.
Like without love, poets would be starved.
Yeah, and it only exists for them.
Yeah, like it doesn't. Yeah. He's like, oh my God.
That's so fun.
I love it. Gregory had always expected that he too would find love. He didn't have a clue on what he was looking for in a future wife, like her hair or her personality or anything. He didn't know what the fuck he was looking for.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
His dreams, his dreams were just like blank faces or like blurred figures. Like it wasn't anything tangible.
That's normal, right?
No, I picture a celebrity when I have dreams like that.
Okay, yeah, I kind of
like when I was younger and I pictured something. It was always like
Heath Ledger.
Who was my early Heath Ledger?
I always loved
him.
No,
he is. He's good.
He was. R.I.P.
I don't know why. I wasn't expecting it.
Sorry.
I should have. Who was my celebrity crush back then? A handful of them. Maybe Logan Lerman. Dylan O'Brien is a good one. What?
I don't know who those people are.
Logan Lerman? Percy Jackson?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's so good looking. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember at this point in time. But
okay, it's Logan.
Yeah, blurred fingers. But he knew that when he saw her, he would simply know. Until then, he was having his fun being young and eligible. No need in being a monk before meeting his future missus. His life was comfortable. He had a decent allowance, but he had no purpose.
Yeah.
No purpose.
No purpose.
And he really needs one.
Yeah, everyone does.
For real. He figured soon he'd know what he wanted to do. As for right now, Gregory was sitting in a leather chair listening to Anthony talk about duty and responsibility.
Blah, blah, blah.
It was like blah, 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 blah. Gregory was daydreaming and half listening, of course. Anthony was saying he needed to make a change in his life. He needed to find a purpose. Gregory tells him he'll join the clergy. This is a way to placate Anthony for now.
Okay.
For now, you know. He said he'd rather join the clergy than the military because those are really the only two options for like higher status men who weren't lords or of anything or like, you know, earls and baron or whatever.
What's the clergy?
It's something in the church, and I have no idea what specifically.
Okay. It's church related. Moving on.
Yeah. But and he can't join the military too because he's a bad shot.
Oh yeah, he does say that a lot.
Yeah. Anthony commended him for finally thinking about his future, which is crazy because Gregory is only 26 years old.
Yeah.
Which like none of the other men had a purpose at this point in their lives.
No.
Not any of them. Maybe Antony, but it was also put in his lap.
No, he was 29, wasn't he?
No, when he decided to marry, but he did technically have like a job.
Well, that was always been there.
But yeah, and that
right.
that was thrusted on his lap.
Yeah.
Antony also says that Gregory could marry, which is
You can get married.
yeah, right. Gregory tells him he does plan to, which shocks Antony. Gregory tells him when he finds the right woman, he will, and that surely Antony would want for him to find a love match.
You want that from me, Anthony, right?
Yeah, don't you want me to be in love? Like
heck?
every other one of our siblings?
Every single one of them.
Antony tells him that he wishes him every happiness that he himself enjoys. Andy then begins to scold him a bit for missing dinner that he promised he'd be there for. And by the way, they're in Kent at Aubrey Hall.
Okay.
I couldn't remember what it was called for a second.
You did great.
Kate was hosting a party with around 30 people and had been excited for Gregory's arrival. Gregory apologized for upsetting Kate, and he really meant it. Like sometimes he jokes, like not a jokes apology, not like,
oh, sorry.
yeah. But it's always like a joke. He's like, like, sorry, I suppose. But, women and drinking, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like not a real one.
He adores and respects Kate.
Adores and respects, 100%. Antony tells him that Kate is in the garden. She means to have some dancing tonight. It was a particularly nice night in England, so they wanted to take advantage of the weather. He bids Antony farewell until Antony can join the party, and he heads out to the garden.
Anthony doesn't join the party.
He doesn't join any parties.
Ever. We don't see him.
At all.
He wasn't available for filming. They wrote him out of these scenes.
He signed a contract for another studio. And he's doing another movie, bitch. Okay? That's how it felt with Simon from season 1.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it really was. But, except he didn't even appear in the scene.
What the heck?
He thought about how Aubrey Hall was technically Gregory's ancestral home, not ancestral. No, it's...
Ancestral does not sound good.
I think the word that they use in the book is ancestral.
I have to look that up.
Oh my god!
It won't take long. Hold on one second.
Because why did? No, it has to be. I'm so serious.
Is it? I don't know. How do you spell it? God damn it.
No, it's definitely supposed to be ancestral.
Ancestral.
That's the best typo. He thought about how Aubrey Hall was technically Gregory's ancestral home, but he always felt more at home in London. After his father passed, Violet had literally packed up everyone in her family and moved to their primary residence in London and stayed there for most of the year.
Oh, yeah, because they all grew up in Kent, right? That's where he died?
That's where he died.
Aubrey Hall?
Yeah.
Cool.
He realized as he was walking out just how hungry he was. He hoped that there would be something somewhat substantial to eat when he got out to the garden. He looked around the party to try and locate Kate and to greet her and to, of course, to apologize.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't there for dinner. Yeah, for dinner. And that is when he saw her.
Uh-oh.
Her. He froze, feeling like the wind had been knocked out of him. He couldn't see her face, just the beautiful curve of her neck.
I forgot to say drink when we say anything related to the back of someone's head.
Oh, I don't say it that many times. You say it a lot?
Yeah.
Okay. Drink, yeah.
Responsibly.
But all he could think was, I am wrecked for other women. He knew that this was the woman he was meant to be with. He moved towards her, forgetting about greeting Kate, forgetting about his hunger. He just had to reach her. She was speaking with another young lady he could tell was a good friend of hers. He smiled softly and said, "How do you do?"
How you doing?
How you doing? Could you imagine how that would work? And could you imagine like Joey being in
somebody write it? Oh my god,
that is so funny.
How you doing? Just a huge player.
I would love to be in these times because it is like the way they talk is it feels like a second language, like in a way.
Yeah, I have to like rewrite everything when I'm doing my notes to make it modern.
100%.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. I would love to see like I don't know what the point of that is.
Yeah,
I would love to be in that time frame.
Or send someone from the 90s back there.
Yeah, literally. Or someone from right now when they're using, what was it, like Skibbity Riz?
Yeah.
Could you
Come
imagine someone
on.
using a Skibbity Riz?
That'd be awful.
In this time period?
No.
They'd hang them for being a witch.
They would.
100%.
I would.
Like, you're
I'd
speaking
go back
in
with
tongues.
them and still hang them.
Yeah. What's this crazy skibbity language you're learning? All right. Okay.
Oh, no.
Lucinda Abernathy, better known as Lucy, stifled a groan as she heard the man greet her and Hermione Watson. Do you know?
Yeah.
What is it?
I do. It's not anything. It's Hermione Watson.
Or were you thinking of
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Okay, so I Googled that. I Googled, is Julia Quinn a Harry Potter fan? Because I thought for sure, because Emma Watson plays Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter films. And there was like an article about a Q&A that she did. And this is what she said. Quite a few people have asked if the name Hermione Watson is an ode to J.K. Rowling, whose character Hermione Granger is played by Emma Watson in the Harry Potter movies. The answer is no. It's just a coincidence, or possibly something from the subconscious. At any rate, Lucy is much more like Rowling's Hermione than my Hermione is.
Really?
Yeah, that's what she said.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I had to look it up. I'm like, there's no way. Come on.
I love it was 100% from the subconscious.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. Because there's no way. That's too much of a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's a really cool coincidence. So I like the name. It rolls off the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
She knew that he had come over to make calf eyes at Hermione. It was an occupational hazard being friends with Hermione Watson. She collected broken hearts the way the old vicar down the abbey collected butterflies. That was a direct quote.
Wow, interesting.
I thought it was really like the imagery in this book. I feel like is elevated.
I agree.
And I actually don't hate that.
No, yeah, it's really nice. Like, yeah, I agree. The way they describe like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the flowers and like the sunsets. And...
So cool. Lucy was used to it by now. Used to always feeling a little bit less. And this is in terms of beauty, when being compared to Hermione. Mm. That makes me sad.
Yeah, it does. It's not good. It sucks.
Well, and the thing that's crazy is like Hermione is described as being obviously like devastatingly beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like if you were to throw a fucking fae from ACOTAR into like our world, into the human world, how they describe that. That's how they describe Hermione fucking Watson.
You know who it reminds me of? Fleur Delacour. From Harry Potter.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
She was part Vila.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like beautiful.
So yeah, maybe that's
She's
like
Fleur.
Yeah, for sure. But my thing is like I kind of like Lucy is okay. Sorry, I forgot where I was supposed to go, and it came to me right in the middle of that sentence.
Okay.
My point is Lucy is still very beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like the way that you again. I'm gonna go refer back to ACOTAR when they would like compare. Pre Nesta and Elaine Faye to post Nesta and Elaine Faye.
Yeah.
Like that is still beautiful.
Yeah.
But one is just almost like otherworldly is kind of how they
I get what, yeah. Yeah. That makes, well, I don't know. I'll keep listening.
Okay. Men were very often struck dumb in Hermione's presence. The only thing that she couldn't do was dance. Lucy and Hermione had met 3 years ago while attending Miss Moss's school for exceptional young ladies. And right now, there was another very handsome young man once again vying for Hermione's attentions. She knew because he had only been looking at her with that little twinkle in his eye. But what was astounding is after disclosing names, he bent down and kissed Lucy's hand first. But of course, she realized that he was only doing this to get in Hermione's good graces. Mm-hmm. What he didn't know was Hermione's heart was otherwise engaged. They spoke pleasantries. He again shocked Lucy by actually addressing her with a question, like a direct question to her. And for a moment, she thought maybe he was interested in her. It wouldn't matter if he was. She was practically engaged to Lord Halsby.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Is that how did you pronounce it? Halesby?
It's spelled Haselby.
Haselby?
So I'm pronouncing it Hazelby. But I guess...
Wait, is that how you spelled it? Have I been spelling it wrong this whole time?
It's Hasel.
Oh my God, this whole book I've been reading this Halsby.
You didn't listen to
Am
this
I dyslexic?
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
I don't think your mind has ever been that blown.
Because this isn't just for the podcast. I've been writing it like this the whole time.
I know.
That's
hilarious.
Mental. That's absolutely mental. I haven't fucked up a name this bad ever. It wouldn't matter if he was. She was practically engaged to Hazelby. It was arranged ages ago. Halesby.
Halesby.
What is it?
Hazelby.
What did I say?
Hasselby.
I said Hazelby. Okay, Hazelby. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
But she had been wrong. He wasn't interested in her. She had only to see the way he regarded Hermione when she spoke to know he had joined the throngs of those besotted by Hermione.
Yes.
She was.
He's a statistic.
Yeah, truly. She was distracted at this point and must have missed something in the conversation because Hermione was trying to get her attention. She said that Mr. Bridgerton had asked her to dance, but she can't. Not that she can't dance, but just she's like, I can't dance right now. I'm so sorry. I got a prior engagement. Gregory then said it would be a pleasure to lead Lady Lucinda in a dance instead. She smiled and let him lead her to the patio. Chapter 2. Gregory was a gentleman, so he hid his disappointment when it was Lady Lucinda and not Hermione Watson he was to dance with.
Good.
Yeah, he was so disappointed.
Yeah.
Lady Lucinda was nice, but she wasn't Hermione. He thought it might actually be a beneficial thing for him to dance with Lucy, considering that her and Hermione were such good friends. And they were real friends, not the kind that were nice to each other's face and waited to knife each other in the rib.
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of those friends.
Currently. No,
That's a crazy thing to say. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I see it because it's like you're competing.
Yeah,
almost,
that's true.
In a way, it's
Yeah.
like a constant fucking game of Love Island. Yeah, and so women are probably pitted against each other way more.
Yeah, you got to marry that Earl or whatever, or Duke.
Well, and also imagine because you only have a couple months to do it, so it's like it's like literally like a game. Yeah. Which is great. So I wouldn't be surprised if women are knifing each other in the back.
They are.
As they approached the dance floor, Lucy asked when he arrived, and he told her only this evening. She assumed since he wasn't there for dinner that he might be hungry, so she suggested to take a turn about the room instead of dance so they can stop by the snack table.
That's so considerate.
She's so good. He immediately asked if she had brothers because she was so perceptive to his hunger. Like, you got brothers, don't you? She said that she did. He is 4 years her elder and always hungry.
Makes sense.
Like Cullen. They made their way to the savory snack table where they had sandwiches, and Lucy gave Gregory her suggestions on which were best.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That was cute.
Yeah, she's like, I like the egg one or the cucumber one.
Yeah.
They spoke, and she told him how she met Hermione and that they had been friends for 3 years. She told him that they planned on debuting this spring in London and that they had been to house parties over the summer to prepare for the upcoming season or whatever.
Yeah, what the heck? You just go to giant, weeks-long house parties?
Yeah, where you stay there. Like,
Yeah,
that's
and,
a crazy thing.
people
Probably
are
the young
committing
ladies.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Because I don't know how long the off season is, but I bet it'd get boring. Like, people would probably think it's boring.
Yeah, that's interesting. That would be so fun.
Not like the parties are boring, but just they get bored, so then they want to throw a party to see people. Yeah, I agree. I think this would kind of be it's like a week-long spring break sleepover.
Yeah.
Is practically what it is.
15 couples, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's a crazy amount.
Yeah, I was going to say something else, but I forgot.
Yeah, that's fair.
Shoot.
Oh, that's okay. The entire time he was thinking how perfect Hermione was. This entire time they're having a conversation.
Yeah.
She told him that he should probably know that Hermione is in love with someone else. This shocked and slightly annoyed him, especially since Lucy was being so nonchalant about it all.
It's yeah, just so you know, she's in love.
Yeah, you probably should know this if you're, looking to get at her.
Yeah.
And he said... He said it was none of his business, but he was a bit taken aback that she had not been struck by the same lightning bolt of love as he had. But for him, it was better for her to think that she was in love with someone else rather than be indifferent to him.
Ooh.
Like he's like, I'd rather. Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
You know, I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. He decided to make her realize her feelings for him. Lucy told him not to feel bad, that most men are crushed when they realize Hermione does not feel the same for them as they do for her. She said he isn't the first man to imagine himself in love with Hermione. And he told her that he didn't imagine himself in love, meaning to like imply he is in love.
He was in love, yeah.
Yeah. She regarded him carefully and says that, well, that's refreshing. They kept going back and forth with him trying to pretend that he's not head over heels for Hermione so he doesn't insult Lucy, but Lucy sees right through it
Yeah.
all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's like...
Right away.
She tells him she's used to it and he does not have to be worried about her feelings, that she's practically engaged herself. They both looked around to try and like spot Hermione. They're doing like the Hyacinth scan the room thing,
the Hyacinth scan.
Yeah, the Hyacinth scan. I'm going to start referring to that as like in my daily life.
Yes.
But it appeared that she had left.
Okay. She gone.
Okay, I'm almost done. I don't even understand, like genuinely. Like it's in the middle of a sentence. I'll forget, like not that I'll forget what I'm reading, but I'll forget where I am. Like I'm thinking about something I'm
so
like disassociating like so easy. It's a crazy.
And I have a comment. You have to like process it.
Is it taking me a while to answer?
I don't know. We'll see in the replay. I don't know. It's hitting me too.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Kate finds them and informs Lucy that Hermione is not feeling well and retired early for the evening.
Oh.
Lucy was clearly a bit annoyed about it. Kate gives Gregory a hard time for both being late and not greeting her when he first arrived. And then Kate, Lucy, and Gregory all talk about shit. They're whatever. And Lucy and Kate are jokingly ganging up on Gregory about using food as a way to get what they want from a man, because every man is always hungry and you can trade food for anything.
Wow.
Then Lucy decides to retire early as well to check in on Hermione. Gregory offers to walk her to the door. Lucy offers to deliver a message to Hermione for Gregory. He asks her why she would do that, and she replies, "You are the lesser of two evils, Mr. Bridgerton." He says, "Give her my regards, that's all."
Okay.
Which is like...
Did they even meet?
Yeah. They did.
I forgot already.
He saw her neck and he ran to her.
Oh, okay. That's right. And he said, "How you doing?"
How you doing?
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
But he is left shocked and in question of what she possibly could have meant by that. Lucy went back to her room and found that Hermione had received a 4-page letter that she was currently reading. It was from Mr. Edmonds, Hermione's father's secretary.
That's such a crazy thing.
It is really crazy. This is the man that she was in love with. Lucy waited for Hermione to read the letter. She fixed with shoes in her closet that were put away wrong and fussed with her nails. Finally, she spoke to Hermione and told her that Mr. Edmonds was not suitable, that her parents would not allow her to marry a penniless secretary. This led to a little argument between the two, Hermione arguing for her love with Mr. Edmonds and Lucy saying that she can have a love match, but with someone in her social class. Hermione told her that you can't choose who you fall in love with, that it just happens in an instant. Lucy was not convinced at all. And Hermione told her how she was in the garden at her house when she saw Mr. Edmonds. Just the back of his neck, not even his face.
Drink.
She heard, she heard music, and the first thing she thought was, "I am ruined." Lucy was fussing about the details, again, not convinced about this so-called love-struck moment. And Hermione said that the point is she cannot be happy without him. That he writes, he loves her too. Lucy suggests that she speak with Mr. Bridgerton. He's a nice, handsome man with a good family.
You should talk to Gregory.
Yeah, please. He's like fawning
So
for you,
hot.
girl. Hermione told her to pursue him then.
You pursue her then.
Yeah. Okay. Lucy reminded her that she was practically engaged. Hazelby was 10 years her elder, but he was a nice man. The marriage had been arranged for forever, but they were just waiting for Lucy to grow.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
That is a nuts thing.
Yeah, and she's got to be like, they got to be 18 now, right? It's their first, their debut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So if it's been going on for years, like they've had it arranged for ages, probably like years and years and years. That is icky.
Yeah, it is.
Hermione claimed that Lucy was just using that as an excuse to not allow her heart to become engaged elsewhere. Lucy argues that her and Haselby were a good match. Other women have far worse matches where they're treated horribly and like, you know.
There's a lot of foreshadowing in these first couple chapters.
100%.
Wow.
Or with very old men. She was lucky for her situation. Hermione told her that if it's what she wished, that she would support her. Lucy decided in that moment that she would help Mr. Bridgerton in his pursuit of Hermione, and she would come around to it. She was sure of it.
She's such a good friend.
Yeah, she, yeah. You know, I can understand. Here's what I'll say about this, okay? I can understand where she's coming from with this because, like, for her, she's very practical. She's the kind of person that would be probably like the hall monitor in today's society.
Yeah.
Like, she likes rules. She likes structure. She likes organization. She likes to be in control. And this is something, one, that's so far beyond the capacities of being in control for her or Hermione. She knows this.
Yeah.
And she knows the rules. She understands them, like, of, you know, being
society. Yeah.
And so I can see why that, like, just trying to make her fall in love with someone else instead of
someone eligible.
Yeah.
Rather than someone she literally can't marry.
Yeah. Rather than helping her be with Mr. Edmonds feels like the right decision for someone like this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But
I don't think it's ill-intentioned.
Yeah, for sure. Chapter 3. The following morning, Kate approaches Gregory and says they're sending the ladies into the village to shop. Kate is playing matchmaker when she asks if Gregory would like to escort a specific lady. And he says, yes, in fact, I would.
Nice.
And Kate says, great, I'll set you up with Lady Lucinda. And he's like, nope, I want Hermione Watson. I want Miss Hermione Granger Emma Watson. Kate sighs, but agrees to pair him up with Hermione. Switching POVs to Lucy and Hermione, Lady Bridgerton, as she is so often referred to as, aka our girl Kate, I like to say Kate, approaches them with a good morning and tells them they're the last to arrive. Kate had sent the couples out in shifts, which was hilarious, so they wouldn't all be walking together and could have an opportunity to chat and not trip over each other. I thought that was really funny.
I love that. She's so thoughtful.
Yeah. Lucy also had a thought about safety in numbers, but she didn't say anything. These comments are always like peppered in.
Yeah.
And it's kind of ominous sometimes. So, like, are we gonna like have a scene later?
Yeah, I agree. It is. Yeah. I agree.
But Kate tells them Hermione will be paired with Gregory and Lady Lucy will be escorted by Mr. Burbrook. And I'm like, what?
I know, a reappearance of Burbrook.
Yeah, it's Neville Burbrook, Nigel's brother.
This is a joke, right?
Neville, right?
Yeah, no, that's crazy. No, come on.
Neville, and he's like Neville Longbottom.
Oh my God.
His personality.
She
is lying. She's lying.
Absolutely lying. Pathologically. Like, this is ridiculous.
It's rude, frankly.
It's quite frankly rude.
But she says, quote, my husband's brother's wife's sister is married to his brother.
Love that for her.
I went through it. It all makes sense. Neville comes in at that moment, and he is very much like Neville from Harry Potter. I wrote that down. And kind of a lot like Mr. Nigel Burbrook as well. Yeah. He's just bumbling and fumbling, small attention span, clumsy, but really nice and jolly.
I love how it's as if all of those qualities just passed down to everyone in your family, like for this book, because he's a Burbrook, he has to act like this. I don't get it.
He's an idiot. Yeah, like the Smith girls too.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But there's always one that knows. So where's the one in the Burbrook family? Yeah. I want a Burbrook to come in and just sweep a lady off her feet like no other.
That's hilarious. And the women pretend not to know how to speak to Neville because he's so excited about everything. He's like, "Do you like kippers?" "Oh, a tufted titmouse." That's a bird.
Like so low attention.
Yeah, like a golden retriever.
Literally.
Lucy could tell right away that Hermione wasn't showing genuine interest in Gregory. She was only being polite because she was obviously so consumed with thoughts of Mr. Edmonds, which could never work out. And Lucy vows to herself that she will make this match happen. They set off and Neville leads Lucy over every rock and tree route, and it's really funny. She's tripping everywhere. This whole chapter is really funny. I liked it.
I did too.
Meanwhile, Gregory is leading Hermione by the elbow, and he's thinking about how perfectly they fit together. Like she's just like grabbing onto his bicep. Like it's not hard to fit that mold.
Yeah, seriously. I bet if we went arm in arm, we'd fit perfectly too.
Yeah.
What?
He tries to start a little bit of small talk, and she's only giving yes or no answers. Lucy tripped over something, and Hermione ran over to her, overly concerned for her well-being. But Lucy's not hurt. Hermione insists that she and her walk together to avoid Gregory, of course. Neville jokes that he'll perhaps take Gregory's arm, and Gregory's not having it. And Neville's like, damn, Jackie, it's just a joke. Hermione clearly does not want him as an escort, but when she turned around, he caught the sight of the back of her neck, and he couldn't help falling more in love. I don't know why. That's what it was weird to come out of my mouth. Lucy is trying to ask Gregory questions so Hermione can get to know him without trying to get to know him. But Neville is answering all the questions himself, and no one is talking to him, but he's just popping in with his answers. And
I love that.
Yeah,
for
he's just
him.
trying to be a part of the conversation.
Honestly, that's iconic.
Yeah, it is. Gregory has a sweet moment when he says having a big family is actually comforting and not crazy and wild like he was going to say. He knows his family is there should ever he be in trouble or simply in need of a good conversation. He can always turn to them. And then he thinks about how he's not as close to his brothers as they all were to each other. And they bring this up a lot in this book. And I feel like they just make it a problem. Like it's not.
I feel like I kind of saw it in Philip's book. Okay. What the fuck?
That's my question.
Elip.
You said it right, and then you just started saying it wrong. You're like Eloise. Elip.
I'm not sure what happened.
Me either. We'll have to rewind it.
Oh my god. In Eloise's book, because of the way that they all entered when Gregory punched Philip, and they're all like, "Shut up, Gregory!" Like he was like
He
know
didn't
what I'm
matter.
saying?
Like he was a child. That's
I
true.
felt it then, which is pretty early, and I feel like you couldn't feel it earlier than that because at that point Gregory was so young that they're not just gonna be like, "Shut the fuck up, Gregory."
He
You know
was
what I
too
mean?
young. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. But still, he knew that if he needed his family or his sisters or his brothers, he only had to ask. Lucy says that is exactly how she feels about Hermione.
Love.
They talk about painting, and if you didn't know this already, Gregory has a brother named Benedict that has 2 paintings in the National Gallery.
Gregory. Wait.
Benedict. Woo. And he's like, I'll introduce you to him, Hermione, if you want to learn about that. And she's not interested.
No.
Neville says something about how velvet is the worst to get paint out of. And Lucy says that it's unique that he wears velvet when he paints, and Neville's face lights up. He is so smitten with the idea of being unique. He's always wanted to be unique. It's so funny.
That's crazy.
More often than not, during this outing, it was Lucy that had the conversations with Neville. They make it to the village, and they decide to have a picnic. Gregory pulls his Bridgerton strings and goes into a shop, and the owner gives them a sheet to sit on and will bring out a basket of food when it's ready.
Aw.
How fun.
That was such a badass move.
Yeah.
I love it.
Check.
Yeah.
Gregory tries to ask Hermione if she likes pie, and she says yes. And then Neville's like, pie? Are we getting pie? Do you like pie, Lucy? And it was this moment that Gregory was quite certain that Neville had fallen in love with Lucy. Poor Lucy, according to Gregory.
Oh, well, poor Neville, because that's the only time we ever heard about it ever was during these scenes.
He never comes back.
No.
Bye, Neville. Wait, he's still here. Lucy sits down on the sheets first with Neville, forcing Gregory and Hermione to sit together, and then Gregory sets about winning Hermione's heart. Chapter 4. Gregory is doing his absolute best trying to win Hermione's favor, and Lucy thinks that if it was anybody else, it would definitely have worked. But he may be trying too hard. So to distract Neville, Lucy says, oh no, Hermione doesn't have any pie. And so he like hurries up and gets her pie. And then Lucy gives Gregory a look that says, "Follow me now, bitch."
Yeah,
Get up.
yeah. Like, come on.
He does, with the excuse of showing Lucy the local flora.
Yeah.
That was really funny too. On their little walk, Gregory is naming all the incorrect names for the flowers, and Lucy has to correct him because she needs everything to be right.
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, that's delphinium." Delphinium comes up a bunch of times.
It slightly reminds me of hyacinth. Like, slightly. Not as, like, because Lucy's more anxious about it.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I feel like, because she's trying to battle, like, her need for correctness with her, like, need to please people. But, like, Hyacinth is like, I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You're wrong. This is what it is.
And it's not even correct.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not correct. Yeah.
That's hilarious. But she tells him, I'm going to give you some advice. You need to do something different. Everyone does what you're doing. Everyone. You need to set yourself apart. You need to pay maybe less attention to Hermione in the next few days. Maybe leave her alone.
Maybe, like, give her no attention.
And she's going to be so curious because she's smart. But most men can't see beyond her face. And then Gregory says, "I would like to know her mind." And he does these things kind of a lot.
A lot.
And I just picture him just like looking off into the distance.
Being like,
Gaze fuzzy.
like, very serious, stern face.
Yeah,
like,
hands in the pocket, just pondering.
Chin muscles flexed.
I would like to know her mind.
I would like to know her mind.
And these words strike Lucy right in the chest. He was so different from other gentlemen she had met. She thinks she might cry, but no, she won't. She's not that sort of girl. But she assures Gregory that you can change her mind if you are patient enough. And then she tells him that Hermione is helplessly in love with her father's secretary, Mr. Edmonds, but she thinks her and Gregory would make a much better match. And then Gregory, she said something, or like her inflections or something, made Gregory believe that maybe Lucy had just called Hermione a fool.
Oh.
And Lucy's like, "Do not ever question my devotion to her." And then she thinks a little bit about her past. And I feel like you said all the same stuff. Never mind.
What?
Like about her, like Hermione and Miss Moss's. But
yeah, they
yeah.
They explain it like
a couple
more
times.
than once for sure.
So we get a little backstory. She was raised from a young age by her Uncle Robert, I think from 8 years old and up. And we don't like Uncle Robert.
No, fuck Uncle Robert.
Yeah. To him, Lucy was a duty he had to fulfill. He never loved her, and he was cold and foreboding as well. He never showed any interest in eating with her or things like that. And I think it is interesting that she went to a school.
Yeah.
But it was like
But we figure out why later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she still loved it. And she was excited about it because at school, which was Miss Moss's, she had friends. And at home, she was just kind of an afterthought. Hermione was her first roommate, and their friendship was solidified by nightfall. I love that so much. She would even spend holidays with Hermione's family, which sounds like Harry Potter.
That is really cool. It does sound like Harry Potter. This is crazy. And this was written after Harry Potter, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know when these are written, to be fair.
I think they were like started in the 2000s.
Oh, okay. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So she had to have been inspired by Harry Potter.
I think so. Lucy thinks if she had told Gregory right now about her entire past, about her brother and her uncle and her school, that he would understand.
How?
And because he went to school and he has a brother and an uncle. Okay. They have a lot in common.
Yeah, of course.
And she's getting flustered and shit. I'm not sure why. I don't know. Finally, they decide to return to the picnic because they're scared Neville will feed Hermione too much pie. And Gregory tells Lucy that he would be honored to take her advice about Hermione and give her space. But Lucy doesn't feel 100% good about that. I think it's because she's somewhat afraid that her plan is actually going to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. Like, she's like, oh, fuck, what did I just do?
Yeah. Gregory avoided Hermione the rest of the day and night. And there was a piano recital after dinner where he sat in the back row so he could peacefully indulge in gazing at the back of her neck. This ignoring Hermione plan was not working, and that's irritating. He catches eyes with Lucy and stares her down because her plan is clearly not working, and he enjoys that she's in distress. This is like a weird bit.
Weird.
Kate approaches Gregory, and Gregory tells her about Hermione and her father's secretary, and Kate is super excited for the gossip, but tells him all he has to do is wait it out because there's no way in hell that family will let her marry that man. So
True.
she will be available soon enough.
True.
And the fact that you can't rush into this is probably for the best. It will give you time for you to for sure know that you want her. She's so smart.
So Kate, it feels for me like she's fulfilling the early Violet role in the books.
Yeah.
But not even the way, not how it was in Hyacinth's book. I feel like Violet was lacking last book.
In Hyacinth?
Yeah.
She tried sometimes.
It's not that she didn't try. It's just her Violet knows what to say.
Oh.
Violet knows what to do.
Yeah.
Last book, her criticisms of Hyacinth, I thought were a little rough.
They were correct, though. And Hyacinth reflected on it and realized it was true.
Sure, but it also rattled her to the point of like insecurity for like weeks.
Oh.
The first conversation they had was just
worried.
like a lot.
She was a worried mother.
I mean, it literally rattled her.
Violet's perfect.
Anyways, Violet is perfect.
To conclude. And Gregory thinks about the gut punch feeling he gets every time he looks at Hermione, especially the back of her neck, strange as it seemed. Kate keeps talking, and Gregory says, "Do you talk through every music recital?" And she said she has an aversion to them. Have you ever seen me at the opera?
Yeah.
Mary Rosso / Mary Bartolomeo.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck
Maria,
her.
I mean.
Shit. What did you say, Mary?
Mary.
Mary Winthrop, everybody.
I don't know what that is.
Mary Winthrop.
From Supernatural? I'm just kidding. Anyways.
From Hyacinth's book.
No, not Mary Winthrop.
Mary.
No. She came back. And Anthony himself I swear I wrote that Anthony is around somewhere, but he hasn't been around, and they're just writing him out of these scenes because he has other places to film.
Yeah.
He watches Lucy and wonders if he can even trust her because he doesn't even know her that much. He sees Lucy leave, probably to the bathroom, and he also leaves. And when Lucy passes by the door to the library, he yanks her inside without making a sound. Gregory tells her not to scream. Oh, chapter 5. Gregory tells her not to scream. She's not sure if she should be scared, but he just wants to talk. Now, here, alone? Gregory asks, "What is going on? Your advice was abysmal." And Lucy says, "I agree. This plan sucked, but I really don't think any plan would have worked." And then he asks, what should I have done?
Yeah.
And then he asks this question throughout the rest of the chapter, and she only says, "I don't know." But the chapter continues for several more pages.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So that was the short recap. Anyways, he's like, "What should I have done?" And Lucy says, "I don't know, but it was worth a try. You weren't succeeding on your own, that's for damn sure." He asks if she has any other ideas. Lucy explains that when Hermione rejects men, they embarrassingly redouble their efforts and treat her as if she's only a prize to be won. And then Gregory says, "Not to me." He's like pondering off in the distance.
Jaw clenched, "Not to me."
And Lucy's like, "Oh my God, he really cares for her. He's such a good guy."
Oh my God, she's so lucky.
Dun, dun, dun. She's a star.
But she cries. Okay.
That was a short one. But Hermione couldn't give a shit. Finally, Lucy says Hermione will come around. She really thinks that she will. Hermione is a romantic, but she knows that she can't marry Mr. Edmonds. Gregory says if she really loves someone, she would risk anything. I would risk anything. Would you risk anything? Is what he says. And Lucy says, "I'm not sure. I suppose it would depend on how it felt." And Gregory asks, he's like, "Do you think there's any other way that it could feel?"
Yeah.
There's only one way. It would consume you. There would be no doubting it, and you would simply know. It would feel like more than you'd ever dreamed. And that does not sound good to Lucy.
Yeah.
She didn't want misery. This is a quote. She didn't want misery. She didn't want despair. And if that meant she also had to forsake bliss and rapture, so be it. And she's like, "Nope, I couldn't do it. That's too much." And Gregory is like, "You wouldn't have a choice.
Yeah.
It would be beyond your control. It just happens." Just like Hermione was saying.
Yep.
And then Lucy says, "That's what Hermione said about Mr. Edmonds." Then she tells Gregory of the story of how Hermione fell in love with the back of Mr. Edmonds' neck.
Ugh.
And she just knew. Gregory has the exact same story as Hermione.
Yep.
And Lucy's like, "Isn't that so weird?" And he's like, "Yeah, that is weird."
It's really weird.
Yeah. He thinks Hermione wasn't supposed to feel that way about someone else when I feel that way about her.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Gregory asks what he should do now. And Lucy suggests waiting. She'll come to see that you are just so much better than the rest. I don't know why she can't see it. It's super obvious to me. And Gregory is looking at Lucy and thinks, quote, Lucy Abernathy would never inspire poetry, but she would make a very fine friend. And then wonders what it would be like to kiss Lucy in the same line.
Yeah. Okay. Are we seeing a little bit of the toxicity of Gregory, or are we just...
No, not yet.
Oh, no, I think we are definitely seeing toxicity. The beginnings of it.
Okay.
Maybe not even the beginnings. All the ways that he talks about Lucy is like, he always is comparing her to Hermione every single time. Every single time.
Not this time. He doesn't mention her.
Yeah, I did. Oh, yeah.
Anyways, we'll talk more about it.
Well, that's even more annoying in my opinion.
We'll get more into it. Anyways, he wonders what it would be like or mean to kiss Lucy. Then he's like, well, we better get back to the drawing room, recital area, piano stuff.
Yeah.
We gotta go. And he thinks to himself, what the fuck? This isn't desire. It can't be. I can't be feeling desire for another woman after those big feelings I have about Hermione currently. And he thinks though that Lucy is quite something, but not for him.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Like, that's my thing, is like, that is everything he says is just so backhanded and I can't stand it.
He doesn't say anything though. He never says anything out loud to them, like negative.
But to think it in his head is too much.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay.
Because even like when they're dancing, right? When they're dancing, not when they're not dancing. They're at the snack table, and in his head, like the whole time, you know, she'll say like, "Oh yeah, we're preparing ourselves," and like they compare it to some sort of like inanimate object, and she's like, "Well." She's like, if I'm a candlestick holder, then, you know, what's Hermione? And Hermione's like, a diamond. In his mind, he's like, a diamond, a very rare jewel. He's like, Lucy's a candlestick and Hermione's a diamond.
Candlestick versus a diamond, Gregory?
Do you see what I mean? Like, that's nuts. That's literally nutty. And then even then he's like, you know, she wouldn't inspire poetry.
Yeah.
But if you asked him what Hermione would inspire right now, fucking sonnet, bitch. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. A sonnet?
A sonnet.
Yeah.
Or like a poem.
Yeah.
You can go more.
Those are the same thing. Okay. Not every poem is a sonnet, but every sonnet is a poem. I think that's correct.
Yeah. I learned that. I had a good education. Chapter 6. Lucy laid in bed, tossing and turning all night, trying to recall what exactly she had said to Gregory. Then in the morning, she noticed the purple under her eyes from not sleeping, and she sighed. Hermione inquired. Hermione inquired about it, but Lucy just said that she was doing sums in her head. She wasn't. This was an easy excuse to use when she didn't want Hermione to know the things that she was actually thinking. They decided to head down to breakfast, which Lucy was worried about, but she was a woman of routine and she loved breakfast. So she was fucking going. Come hell or fucking high water. Okay?
Dude, it's like one of my favorite themes in this book.
Same. Just breakfast or?
Breakfast? No. Eating specifically with Lucy.
I agree. But then she remembered the things that she said to Gregory and she realized that he was going to think that she was into him. So she faked sick to Hermione to get out of going. And they went back to the room because she's like, I'm so nauseous or whatever, right?
Just in my ankle.
In my ankle, I'm so nauseous. And it hurts somewhere in my fingertips. Hermione was intending to use it as an excuse for them both to not go down to breakfast. But this would have been in direct opposition to Lucy's plans, you know, to get her and Gregory to hook up. So she asked her to go down and get her food because Hermione knew what Lucy liked.
Yeah, this part is so funny.
Hermione was annoyed by this, but she did agree to go. Gregory headed down to breakfast, and we're with him now. And he had been a little rattled from the night before when he had thought about what it would be like to kiss Lucy.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't as if he actually wanted to do it. He was just like wondering. It didn't mean anything.
I'm not going to do it.
No, I just was wondering. So it didn't mean anything though. Like it all chalked up to nothing. It didn't mean anything, whatever. So he knew he could eat his breakfast with a clear conscience.
Oh, good.
So what does he want to grab? Okay, some cod, some eggs. Those are good. Tasted them. They're nicely salted. Honestly, he wasn't even really wondering. He just wasn't feeling like himself, and the lighting was weird, and like all, it was just like the things around him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Back to the cod and tea. Tea will be good. And then she came in, Miss Watson. He was surprised that she hadn't come with Lucy. He greeted her and asked if she'll join him. He felt as though he could read her mind when she agreed, but she couldn't stay long. She told him that she needed to bring a tray to Lucy because Lucy wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
Oh, so sad. And then she asked him if he had fished the night before. And he was like, no, I didn't. He said, yes, I did. And she goes, yeah, me too.
She didn't get sick by the fish, probably.
Yeah, neither of them did. So she's like, okay, because Lucy said she felt nauseous because she had fish the night before. So that's why this whole thing is.
That's why that makes sense.
Why did I write that instead of writing the content?
You didn't write the whole joke.
I didn't. I wrote 1/4 of the joke. I wrote the punchline. Not even the punch. The setup line to the punchline.
The middle of it.
Oh my God. Once she grabbed food and sat down, he decided to try and have a conversation. He started talking about his dream from last night. At first, Lucy was not receptive. She was even like kind of judgy, which is fair because he was being weird.
Yeah.
And she did not want to have a conversation with him at all. Slowly, as he was describing this fake dream he had the night before, Lucy began to open up a little. He even had made her laugh when he was talking about how he likes to torment Hyacinth.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a dick.
It's so funny, though.
It is really funny. They spoke about her brother and how he went to Cambridge. And she said that Lucy's brother also went there. He graduated last year. When Hermione finished her food, she told Gregory she better get Lucy her food tray and bring it to her.
Yeah, Lucy's hungry.
Yeah, I got to get this back up to her. He was excited, though, because it seemed like she was reluctant to leave. Hermione started to pack the plate full of food. And she explained that Lucy loves breakfast.
You don't understand. She loves breakfast.
It's her favorite meal. And as it happens, it's also Gregory's favorite meal.
Oh, they have so much in common.
So much.
So far, it's breakfast.
Me too. I like food. I have it in common with them. Maybe we're soulmates. Hermione said she would tell Lucy she's always interested in things like that. She randomly just like does sums in her head. So she'll be interested in whether you like breakfast, probably.
That's silly.
Then Hermione headed upstairs to Lucy. Hermione told Lucy about her breakfast with Gregory. She told her that she finds Gregory quite amusing. Lucy did her best to try and encourage this, like progress, and she mentioned how handsome and charming he is. But not so handsome that it would be intimidating to be married to, where she'd feel like a duck. You'd feel like a duck if you're married to him. That's how hot he is. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
Hermione mentioned Mr. Edmonds and how fair he was.
Oh, like easy on the eyes?
I don't know if fair means like light-featured.
Lighter skin, paler.
Yeah, it just paler and like blonde and all that stuff, or if it just means fair. Like, I don't know what fair means.
Fair.
But, yeah, he's fair. But then spoke on how she likes Gregory's family. Hermione said that. She's like, oh, he has a nice big family. I like that. And noted how they like Lucy better. Kate likes Lucy better.
I see the signs.
Yeah, but that's not unusual because Hermione said that women always liked Lucy better. Lucy said that she wouldn't. Yeah, which was like, oh, that's true. Men tend to flock to Hermione and women tend to flock to me. Lucy said that she wouldn't be marrying his family. And Hermione said that she never said she wished to marry Gregory. However, she realized at breakfast when they were talking that she fluttered for him. Not as strongly not as strongly as she did for Mr. Edmonds, but if she's so in love with Mr. Edmonds, should she be fluttering for someone else?
Right?
Hermione says that she's doubting herself and it's very distressing. What if this happens again with someone else? Lucy said that marriage is a big deal and it's okay to doubt yourself. Once you make the decision to marry someone, you can't change your mind. She doesn't need to rush into it. And Hermione agreed. Agreed. Did you hear that?
What
And I said Hermione agreed.
You sound like you said Hermione instead of Hermione. I think that might be right.
And Hermione agreed. Then there was a knock on the door. A maid came to tell her that her brother was there to see her. Hermione and Lucy tried to guess what might be wrong for Richard, her brother, to have come to speak to her in person. Hermione asked Lucy if she would like for her to accompany her to greet him, and Lucy nodded. Together they left for the Rose Salon. Salon. It's a room. It's a different room in the house.
Okay.
Like a greeting room. Chapter 7. Gregory was chatting with Kate at breakfast when the butler informed them of Lord Fensworth's arrival, who is also Lucy's brother.
It's so easy to interchange all their names.
It's really easy. That's why I have to just write their names, because otherwise it's hard to understand and follow. So he decided to accompany Kate when she went to greet him. Upon meeting Lord Fensworth,
You said Kate.
What did I
Is that
say?
right?
So he decided to accompany Kate. Yeah, Kate.
Okay.
Anthony's
Gregory.
wife.
Okay.
Gregory
did? Okay.
So he decided to accompany Kate when she went to greet Lord Fensworth.
Lord Fensworth. Okay, I'm there.
Upon meeting Lord Fensworth, he actually liked him. He's like, this is a cool guy. That is until he realized that he was also in love with Hermione Watson.
Oh, no.
He had asked his courteous couple questions about his sister's whereabouts and her, like, she's okay.
Where's your sister?
Before asking if Hermione would be joining them so quick. Gregory then had to comment to Lord Fensworth about how devoted a brother he was to fetch his sister himself when he could have just sent a carriage. And he was just like antagonizing him.
Oh.
He's like, oh, aren't you so devoted to come in person?
Because he's in love with Hermione.
Because he's in love with Hermione.
Oh, okay.
Kate made sure his arrival wasn't an emergency. She then insisted that they both stay for another day or two, meaning Lucy and Richard is Lord Fensworth.
Yes.
They had a mask ball on Friday, and she asked if they would attend. Lord Fensworth hesitated at first, but once he saw Hermione walk through the door alongside Lucy, he accepted the invitation. Lucy immediately inquired about why he was there. Kate asked if they wanted privacy to speak, but Richard insisted that they could talk later, that it was not an emergency. Lucy obviously was nervous and concerned on what his purpose was there. So she asked, like, are you sure? Like, are you sure we can't go talk now, or we shouldn't go talk now?
Oh, right.
And he reassured her.
Okay.
Mostly because he didn't want Hermione to leave. Richard also informed her that they would be staying until Friday. This made her nervous too, because she knew her uncle probably wanted her back immediately. Richard greeted Hermione, and Hermione regarded him with warmth and kindness, and not at all like the masks that she had been presenting to Gregory. It rattled Gregory a little bit, but he didn't mind a little competition. When Kate offered breakfast to Lucy and Richard, Gregory used this as an opportunity to ask Hermione if she wanted to take a turn about the gardens.
Ooh.
And she agrees and joins him. Lucy went to breakfast with Richard and had to endure 30 minutes of meaningless conversation. Then they went for a walk on the side lawn. She was irritated as he asked her a bunch of questions about how she was. Well, and then he spoke about Hermione for some reason. Like, he was just like, she's like, get to the point. Like, I want to know what's going on. Yeah. He was just talking. She finally asked why he had come to see her, and he told her that their uncle planned to marry her off. She wouldn't have a season like she was promised.
That's so mean.
That's so sad. She was shocked and bummed about this. She didn't feel like she should be, but still, it was so soon. All the things she wanted to experience as a single woman were gone in a flash. Richard did his best to cheer her up, and he told her that Hazelby would treat her well and gently. that she will be a countess, which is such a big deal. And she swallowed her feelings and told him she was okay. Richard brought up how Hermione could be her attendant at her wedding, which I'm assuming kind of means bridesmaid.
Yeah.
Or like maid of honor. And they talked about what color Hermione would wear at her wedding as her attendant.
What?
And Richard had said like she had to wear something like a color that wouldn't outshine Lucy on her wedding day. Like Richard is the worst.
Oh my God.
What the worst.
The fuck?
Dude. Lucy said she can wear whatever color she wants, and not even in like a mean way. She was like, well, Lucy can wear whatever color she wants.
Yeah, because I love her and I support her and I don't care that she gets more attention than me.
Yeah. But he's like, you know, you really should wear something that makes her look ugly because otherwise she's going to outshine you on your wedding day. It's a crazy thing to hear even from a brother. If my brother said that to me, dude, we'd be fighting.
That's crazy.
That's a crazy thing. Richard told her that she was such a good friend for letting Hermione wear whatever color she wanted.
Richard, what the fuck?
Richard. He told her that they should head back to the house, but Lucy wanted to sit on the bench and look out onto the trees for a bit. She tried to convince him and herself that she wasn't upset, just surprised.
She's upset.
Chapter 8. I know. I have 2 more chapters. It's a crazy thing. Wait, no. Yeah, 2. Yeah.
Chapter, yeah.
An hour later, Gregory is congratulating himself on getting Hermione to go on a walk with him, and it had gone so well. He named 6 different types of flowers and was able to make her laugh twice. To be fair, the flowers were like daisy, flower, like
sunflower,
tulip, like easy things. Easy
yeah,
things.
and grass was one of them.
Like grass was one. Oh my God. But she, by the way, during this walk, she had not made him laugh. He had made her laugh twice, but she had not made him laugh. And he noticed, too, that he hadn't felt the same punch in his chest feeling that he had the first time he saw her.
It's getting easier.
A little easier to breathe, and which was a good thing because he liked breathing.
Yeah. That's what I always say.
Same. It's true. He went to take a walk down to the lake because he wanted to be alone just to think about Hermione. But literally. Yeah. And this is when he ran into Lady Lucinda, who was sitting on a bench facing the trees. He noticed that she didn't quite look like herself, and so he asked to join her. He asked her what tidings her brother brought, but she didn't want to talk about it. And she only said that it had been important. Then they talked about why he decided to go on a walk, and he decides to drop the bomb that Richard is in love with Hermione. Lucy does not believe this at all. She denies it vehemently, but also says if Richard was in love with Hermione, she would be happy to see the two of them together. In fact, she would have to support Richard's bid for Hermione's heart over Gregory's.
Okay.
If he actually loved her, you know, which is silly because he doesn't.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
But none of it mattered because he was not in love with Hermione. And then they talk about how the problem of Mr. Edmonds was still there, I think. And they joke about how refreshing it is that Gregory didn't try and pretend he didn't know Mr. Edmonds' name. Then Gregory tells her that he is a bad shot. I don't know how that got worked in the conversation, but she tells him that Hermione can't dance.
Oh, yeah. They're just like confessing.
It's like super weird that she's confessing something on Hermione's behalf.
Yeah. It's like the only thing, though. It's the only thing she's got.
But this does make the conversation awkward for a second. And then Lucy offers to teach Gregory how to shoot. And he asks if Hermione can shoot too. And Lucy realizes that she doesn't know if she can or not.
Oh.
It's like one of the only things that she doesn't know about Hermione.
Yeah.
She said that her father was the one who taught her how to shoot. The smugglers, by their house, would come to their house when she was little.
You guys have smugglers, right?
Yeah, just like the neighborhood smugglers.
Yeah.
Just the neighborhood smuggies. That's what we call them.
Yeah, the smuggies.
The smuggies in neighborhood.
Better watch out. They're dangerous, but we all got them.
Those fucking smuggies, man. Oh my God. But that is why the skill is so useful for her to know.
Yeah.
With a gun.
The gun skill that we were just talking about.
Then he kind of starts to flirt with her. They walk back to the house together talking, and she apologizes because she knew he wanted to be alone and he didn't have a chance to have the time for himself to think. But he realizes he doesn't care that he didn't have that time. He no longer wants to be by himself, and he doesn't know why. Oh. And all of this was meaningful somehow.
Okay. Yep. I follow.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's a crazy thing. Chapter 9. The following night was the masked ball. Kate had originally wanted to do a costume party, but after dressing Anthony as a Cupid baby last year, Anthony refused that idea. Oh. Because she dressed him as a baby.
He doesn't want to be dressed as a baby
and
again.
He was literally just wearing like a man diaper. That was all he was wearing.
I can picture it.
That's a good picture.
That is.
The compromise was the masks, which did work for Anthony anyway, because then no one would have any idea if he was actually at the party or not.
What?
Because a lot of the time he liked to escape early because he didn't like these events.
Oh, yeah.
So he was like, this works perfectly because no one will even know to ask if I'm here or not. Gregory arrived precisely at 8 upon Kate's request and instruction. So it was just him, Kate, and Anthony since it was so early, which is on time but early. Kate let it slip that Gregory was courting some young lady, and Gregory had not intended to tell Anthony, so he was a little bit annoyed.
Yeah.
But Kate did refuse to say who it actually was, just to vex her husband. Gregory did not tell him either because it wouldn't matter if he did not succeed in winning her heart. Later, the guests started to trickle in. He was on the lookout for Hermione, but had not spotted her yet. He noted how it would be easy to spot her because her hair was ethereal in the candlelight. However, Lucy, and this is a direct quote, Lady Lucinda, on the other hand, she would have no trouble blending in. Her hair was certainly a lovely shade of honeyish blonde, but it was nothing unexpected or unique. And then I think he goes on to say like half the town has that hair.
Oh, geez.
I'm not kidding.
I know he does.
She should have been at the ball by now. She would have come in with Lucy, who hates being late. And it's not like they had carriages and whatnot to hold them up. He thinks about how Lucy being so punctual is a good thing, and she reminded him of Kate. He was hungry then and decided to go to the snack table for those little sandwiches.
He's starting to correspond his feelings for Lucy with food.
Oh.
He loves food so much.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's the only time that happens.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's
wow.
It's good.
I just caught that.
Oh, it's so good. Lucy approached him then. She had made her suggestions on what sandwiches he should try and made a comment about how unorderly it was because they were all mixed up. Yeah, and not like separated by sandwich type. Gregory was then restless by the music of the evening and unexpectedly asked Lucy to dance. She happily agreed because she loves to dance. It's like a big thing for her. They both had an amazing dance and time during it. And like, it was fun dance. And Gregory noted how it was over too quickly. He told her that she was a good dancer and he knew that she would be by the way that she moved.
Yes, she's so graceful, the way she moves her fingers.
Yes, preternatural. And it was Lucy who then questioned where Hermione might be. She had arrived with Hermione and Richard, and he had asked Hermione to dance, but she had not seen them since. They glanced around the ballroom and realized that they could not be found. And for whatever reason, Lucy like knows for sure they're not in the gardens or something.
Really?
I think she's like, well, even if they were outside, they might be on the patio, but there's like 30 people on the patio and they wouldn't go to the gardens. So they're definitely not in the gardens.
Why wouldn't they?
Because she doesn't think Richard is in love with.
Oh, yeah. They're not even together, probably.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. She doesn't. She thinks not.
Yeah.
And Gregory knows that more than likely that they were off doing God only knows what. Gregory's stomach dropped. He knew he had to find Hermione before she did something irrevocable. He started to feel angry and jealous at the thought of it. He suggested he'll look for Hermione alone, but Lucy suggests that they ask Kate to help. She is still under the impression that her brother does not love Hermione, so she's not worried about that.
Yeah.
But Gregory does not want Kate involved. If they find Hermione and Gregory in a compromising position, Kate would force them to marry. But if it was just him alone, like he wouldn't enforce that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Lucy is angry because she does not think that Richard loves Hermione, and he would never compromise Hermione. He would never do that to Lucy either. Like
Oh,
I don't.
yeah.
I think she thinks that he wouldn't get with her best friend because
Yeah.
like that's her best friend. So
Yeah.
that's sad. And he tells her that she is wrong. They go back and forth about it for a little longer until Kate overhears them anyway. And Lucy tells her that Hermione and Richard have been unaccounted for the last hour.
Oh, it's too much time.
And that's Kate immediately blanched. She's like, oh shit. And she told Lucy that Richard is in love with Hermione and they need to find her now. Lucy denies it at first, but then says that Richard would never force anything on Hermione.
Yeah.
And Kate said that he might not have to.
Yeah.
And they all silently exited the ballroom. Lucy was stunned for sure, like for like a minute.
She for several hours and days, maybe, I think.
Yeah, but like she was like stunned
Into silence.
into silence, and she didn't also move.
Into not moving.
She was a statue.
Chapter 10. Lucy follows Kate and Gregory into the hallway, contemplating her feelings. Didn't she want Hermione to marry her brother? They contemplate splitting up to look, but they had to search together because if Gregory found them by himself, who knows what he would do. And I think someone mentioned his temper. And Lucy can't be alone because it's dark and empty. The gentlemen are wearing masks and they've been drinking.
Yeah.
Ooh, see? So I guess they head upstairs and they just start barging into rooms. Lucy catches a couple mid-coitus with masks on. And when she says that out loud, Kate said they had their masks on. That means they're married and not to each other. And then we don't elaborate on that little tidbit of information. We just move on.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. What?
Insane. What? Gregory catches another couple together that aren't married to each other, and Lucy is becoming distressed. People were committing adultery not 10 feet away from her. Shouldn't they do something? The couple that she walked in on had flowers on their table, and she knows where Hermione and her brother are. It's the orangery, which I don't know what an orangery is. Is that just like, is it a grove of orange trees?
I don't know, actually. I have no idea.
And Richard loves flowers, though. So,
Yeah.
of course, they're going to be there.
He's like a mini Philip, that fucker.
He is. She sneaks away from Gregory and Kate, hoping to find them by herself, because if Hermione wanted to marry her brother, then it should be done by her choice and not because they were caught. She's running. She's tearing across this house. Her lungs are burning. When she finds the door to the orangery, didn't it feel like she had to search for it too? Like she wasn't quite sure where it was, and she was just like opening doors.
Yeah. No, I thought she knew where it was.
Oh, okay. It's just an implanted memory. When she finds the door to the orangery, it seems like she has a panic attack and can't open it. And then Gregory finds her. He's upset that she was alone because the men have been drinking and they use the mask as a license to ... People are not themselves. Oh my God.
Horrible.
Kate, what kind of party are you throwing?
I know. They need
Kate,
security.
Vet your guess.
Yeah. What the hell?
Then Kate shows up, takes a deep breath, and opens the door, and they all go in. It was really quiet and dark, but Gregory quickly caught and tackled Richard and had his hands on his throat. Gregory asks, where is she? But Richard can't answer because his throat is being constricted. Kate tells him multiple times to let the fuck up. And then Gregory and Richard start rolling around, wrestling and fighting and punching and whatever. And Lucy is panicking, hoping that Kate can maybe stop this because this is her house. But Kate was too busy catching Hermione. And Hermione is apologetic and crying. And when asked what happened, she said, I fluttered. Again.
I can't stand.
Third time.
I can't stand Richard or Hermione.
So they're
at all.
perfect for each other.
Yeah. I say honestly, fuck them. Like for real. Seriously. This is so bad.
Oh, it is really bad. An hour later, Hermione and Richard were engaged to be married. And Gregory was getting a little drunk in his brother's office. He was drinking the good stuff that Anthony's always trying to hide from him. He's thinking about how there's no chance between him and Hermione anymore unless he wanted to kidnap her, which he didn't want to do. Quote, one did not kidnap a gently bred female, especially one engaged to be married to an earl, and expect to emerge with one's good name intact. End quote.
Foreshadowing.
That doesn't happen. What was he supposed to do now? Sit and wait until the back of someone else's neck sent him into rapture? He had it with necks. They were highly overrated. He stood up to figure out how drunk he was, and then he left the room.
Bye.
She's going to go on a walk. Chapter 11. Lucy is headed back to her room once again alone. Kate had forced her to go back to the party without a mask on, and so Lucy just stood at the edge of the ballroom feeling like a fool. She recognizes she's in a foul mood that she doesn't want to be in anymore, so she decides that she needs to just go to bed. Kate left her with a maiden aunt, but when Lucy attempted to speak to her, the aunt was like, "Do I know you?" And she's like, "Nope, I thought you were someone else," and then walked out of the ballroom alone.
She dips out.
Yep. She decided to go through the north wing, which was the family's private rooms, to avoid the rest of the guests because she's alone. So good girl. She was walking down this deserted hallway with her head down, counting the patterns in the carpet. Okay. And she was about these patterns. So what does she have, do you think? Is it just like
OCD?
I was gonna say like something like OCD tendencies.
Yeah. Maybe a little maybe like ADHD.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I don't know much about it. But yeah, probably a mix of both.
Something.
Yeah. That's just interesting. Anyway, she has her head down, looking at the patterns, and then she runs into Gregory, like right into his body. Gregory asks her what she's doing here, and she says, "I'm going to bed, and this hallway seemed the best route given that I am alone." He tells her he was in his brother's office, pondering, and he said it again, like looking off.
Pondering.
And his attitude right now is nonchalant. She tries to go to bed faking a coughing fit, and he says something innocuous like, "Oh, I'm glad you're feeling better after that coughing fit. I hate when that happens to me." And she's like, "Oh my God, does Gregory love me? Is he in love with me?" She's reading way too far into it. They both keep saying, "I need to go." "Yeah, me too," but they don't move. And Gregory asks how the party was. "Weren't you forced to go back?" And Lucy's like, "Yeah, I had to go back without a mask on, so I stuck out." And he's like, "Stuck out like a blue mushroom?" And
What?
yeah.
Such a weird thing for him to say.
And then it's because he's drunk. And then Lucy's like, "Oh my God, are you drunk?" And Gregory says that he was thinking, given the events of the evening, "Don't you think I should be more upset?" Quote, "My heart practically stopped beating when I saw Hermione, so why aren't I upset right now?"
I really don't understand it either.
Why don't I care? Gregory said he was cross. He was cross. Maybe it's still a little bit. And then Lucy, quote, "And Lucy felt the need to apologize," which she knew was ridiculous because none of this was her fault, but it was so ingrained in her, this need to apologize for everything. She couldn't help it. She wanted everyone to be happy. She always had, and it was neater that way, more orderly. Makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Then she apologized to Gregory for not believing him about Richard. And he's like, "Oh, no need to apologize. I don't care. I'm going to be fine. Are you going to be fine?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to be fine." And then Gregory just stays silent and staring at her. And the silence made her speak.
Okay.
She had to fill the silence
I see where this
with
is
words.
going.
So Lucy starts to babble about the events of the night and Hermione. And then Gregory kisses her. It was just a little kiss, just a brush so light it almost tickled, but it was about her.
Ugh.
And it all felt so big because it was happening to her for once. The kiss deepened and she thinks this was it. This was the music. This was a symphony. This was a flutter, more than a flutter. She felt awakened. He was kissing her neck and it was setting her on fire. And then she thinks, was this what happened to Hermione? And then Lucy understood it now. And then she remembered she was engaged to Hazelby or Halsby. So she breaks off the kiss and says, "No, I can't do this." And Gregory very politely, he takes it in stride and he just says, "Please allow me to escort you upstairs." And she says no, because she's afraid she won't be able to resist him again. And she says her room isn't that far anyways. It's fine. Then he says, "Okay, let me walk you to the stairs and you'll knock 3 times when you find your room." And they're both like, "Okay, I'll see you tomorrow." I was like, "Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. I might be leaving tomorrow. I'll see you in the morning."
Yeah. I felt like he was like trying, like he's like, "I will see you in the morning."
Yeah.
She's
it's
like,
not a
"I'm
question.
leaving. I'm leaving early. I'll see you in the morning."
Well, I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. It feels like he wants her. Like
Yeah.
he genuinely wants her.
But he doesn't know it yet.
I feel like he kind of knows it because I feel like maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
Not that he like is in love with her or anything in this moment, but he definitely has some sort of attraction.
Yeah.
You know?
But he, yeah, obviously they just kissed.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just, the way that he's thinking, it just takes a while to get there.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 12. In the morning, Gregory is eating breakfast and Kate approaches him trying to apologize for this entire situation. But Gregory is like, it's fine. It's nothing. It's fine. Please stop.
Leave me alone.
Kate gets a little sentimental, I think. Okay, this part confused me. And she asked how old they were when they met. And Gregory is like, what the fuck? But he recalls Anthony and Kate's wedding and how many flowers they had and how he'd been sneezing for weeks, which is funny because she does write about that in Daphne and Anthony's, right? Hyacinth and Gregory were like menaces at the wedding.
Yeah, he was so bad.
Yeah. I don't know where Kate is going with this, but they talk about how he's 10 years. There's 10 years between Gregory and Colin and 6 between Colin and Anthony. So that means there's 16 years between Gregory and Anthony.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And it kind of makes me sad.
That is a lot. It is a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot of years. Kate tells him Hermione's betrothal is a done deal. All parties involved are content. And Gregory thinks that he must not be a party involved then. Kate says that they're leaving soon. And when Gregory asks when, Kate's like, oh, Hermione, I think soon. He's like, no, Lucy. But he doesn't say that. He just says, no, I met Lady Lucinda, please. When is she leaving? And she said, oh, soon, I think. She already had her breakfast, and Gregory was waiting for her to show up at breakfast. He was like, there's too much ham left. She didn't come down.
Yeah, but that's my thing. Like, what was he waiting for her for?
Well, he obviously wanted to talk here. He has to go find her. He has to go see her. He has to.
But for what?
He said he should at least apologize for that kiss.
Yeah, I guess.
It's the gentlemanly thing to do. Even though he didn't want to and he liked it and he wanted to keep going. He stood abruptly, almost knocking the table over, and claimed he wasn't hungry anymore. And Kate had known him for 10 plus years and had never known that to be true. So her jaw is on the floor. Meanwhile, Lucy is in her room staring at her packed trunk, feeling tired, sad, and confused. Her and Hermione hadn't really seen each other since the night before. They've kind of been accidentally avoiding each other. But Hermione comes into the room to and says she wants to explain. But Lucy says, you don't need to explain. I had the exact same thing happen to me last night. No. I'm very happy you will be marrying my brother and you're going to be my sister now, just like I always wanted. But she was like super duper sad. Hermione tells Lucy she really did think that she loved Mr. Edmonds, but she realized she probably didn't because first there was Gregory and then Richard.
Yeah.
And Lucy's like, what do you mean first there was Gregory? And she said she didn't know how she could possibly be in love with Mr. Edmonds if Gregory had made her wonder, quote. But with Richard, it just felt right. It felt like she'd come home. Lucy apologizes that she didn't seem happier last night. She just was shocked. Hermione says her and Richard are perfectly matched, and it's all so very clear now. And Lucy was terrified that she knew exactly what she meant. Hermione explains how the kiss between her and Richard happened and thinks about how with Mr. Edmonds, he was super hot. Okay, this part was kind of confusing. He's like, yes, Mr. Edmonds is super hot, but she never wanted to kiss him.
Yeah.
She said she only leaned into him not because she wanted to, but because it was where she belonged. It was a confusing couple of passages, but then Lucy is like, what the fuck is going on? First, everyone says that love was a thing of magic, wild and uncontrollable.
I would be confused too. Fuck.
I said that so bad. Yeah, wild, uncontrollable, and came like a thunderstorm, and now it's just comfort and peace.
Yeah. What? That's so confusing.
Yeah. Don't stop leading this girl around in circles.
I feel confused.
Yeah, what is it supposed to be? And she says, what happened to hearing music and to seeing the back of the head and just knowing? And Hermione says, don't trust that feeling.
What?
Lucy wouldn't trust that feeling. She would not, but she would trust the comfortable and nice feelings. She had felt all the things Hermione had said she felt with Mr. Edmonds and everything she said she felt with Richard, but with the same person, with Gregory, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds. And Lucy thinks, oh my God, I'm in love with Gregory Bridgerton.
Oh no, Gregory.
She needed to change the subject and lose herself in the details. So she asked, when is the wedding? And Hermione says, soon. Then a maid and two footmen come in to remove Lucy's trunks. And they hug. And Hermione is excited they'll both be countesses. And Lucy is downright sad, but plays along. Gregory finds Lucy in the driveway with Gregory now. He tells her he's sorry, and she accepts, and he asks if he will see her in London, and she looks too somber, too not like her. Lucy says, I'm engaged, and he's like, yeah, practically engaged, right? But she says, no, I am really officially legally engaged. It's done. And he just says, I see. And he's keeping himself super, very composed. And then he says, I wish you the best. Lucy says she wants to go for a walk around the garden because she's going to be in the carriage for a very long time very soon. She tells Gregory, it has been lovely knowing you. And when she looked at him, he saw her right down to everything inside of her, weary and bruised. She says she's sorry that everything didn't work out, like with Hermione, the Hermione stuff. And Gregory pictures his life married to Hermione, and he's bored. And he has a realization here in chapter 12 that they were not suited at all. It's not bad. I thought that was going to be an early number. And it was all Lucy's fault somehow. Somehow, she was responsible for him coming to his senses. Lucy then turns to leave to take her walk, and Gregory watches her the whole way. Not because he expected her to turn or even because he hoped she would, but just in case she did. But she didn't look back. So he spent his final moments watching the back of her neck, and all he could think was something isn't right, but he couldn't figure it out.
I don't love this because, no, I should say, I think it's shitty how Gregory just treats this whole situation, honestly. And me personally, like, if I was Lucy,
Yeah.
I would have liked it more if Gregory would have realized at some point here that, like, he didn't want Hermione, that it wasn't a third party catalyst that made him realize this. Like the fact that she's engaged, something out of his control, something he didn't choose.
Yeah.
I just wish it was something that was in his control, where he was like in the middle of liking Hermione, maybe not Hermione liking him back, but then he realizes, oh, I don't want Hermione, I want Lucy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel like it's his choice. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
And so it'd make me insecure in this type of relationship because the whole time I'd ever be with him, if Lucy ever does get him, would be he at one point wanted the fuck my best friend, wanted her so bad he wanted to marry her. Like, pursue.
Yeah, those are the details
actively.
you can't harp on. You gotta let that go.
I can't not harp on that because this whole story is romantic.
Yeah.
So anything that makes it not feel romantic is hard not to harp on.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Harping. Keep harping. Chapter 13. I think this is the worst and saddest chapter in this whole book.
I forgot what it was.
Okay, let's get into it. It's 1 month later, and Lucy is miserable. She's at dinner with Hazelby, his father, and her uncle. A meeting which she had requested. Her wedding was 1 week away, and this was the first time seeing her future husband, at least since the engagement was official.
Yeah.
Did she ever see him?
Yeah, she did. Like, one other time.
One more dinner before I get married. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't think it was in anyone's plans for Lucy to meet her future husband until the day of the wedding or something like that. So she asked her uncle if she could arrange some sort of gathering so they could meet. And he said yes, which he rarely does. And she was excited that she got a yes out of him. So she asked if she could attend a social event sometime. They were happening right outside her door, after all.
Yeah.
But he had refused. It would be a waste of time and money when they already had a proposal of marriage, which was the whole point. She was watching partygoers arrive at a house across the street from them one day. She told herself she just wanted to see the gowns, but really she was looking for Gregory. She didn't see him, and she didn't know where he was, and there was no way of knowing. She was trapped in the house with her uncle and her aging, slightly deaf Aunt Harriet. She left the house for trips to the dressmaker and walks in the park, and that's it. She thinks a lot about how Gregory and their kiss and what it meant. And she remembers how she had searched his face after she had told him about her engagement, and there wasn't anything to be done because he didn't have any reaction. She didn't see anything in his face.
No.
Because he kept himself so composed.
Ugh.
Would have been nice if he seemed a little bit upset, but he was just polite instead. And when she walked away, she wanted to look back and have one last glance to memorize his stance, like the way he stood. But looking back would have only made it worse. He probably wasn't watching her anyways, but if he was, and he saw her turn around, it would have just been devastating. In the end, it didn't matter what her heart knew or didn't know. but she still wanted to see him in London. Just a glimpse. A glimpse never hurt anyone. All right, now we shift to what's happening at the dinner here. Hazelby, her betrothed, was fine. He was perfectly fine, even pleasant. But his father, she prayed that Hazelby has his own home. After complaining about everything that he could, Lord Davenport is his name, turned his attentions to Lucy. And it was everything she could do to not take a step back when he stepped so close that his hot breath puffed around her face. Talk about the imagery that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, gross.
He told her to show her teeth and, quote, Lord Davenport had inspected her like a brood mare, even going so far as to place his hands on her hips to measure them for potential childbirth. Lucy had gasped and glanced frantically at her uncle for help, but he was stone-faced and staring resolutely at a spot that was not her face.
God.
I know. I said it breaks my heart that this poor girl is being touched without her consent. She's clearly uncomfortable, and she looks to her uncle for help, the man that raised her since 8 years old, to recognize that she's uncomfortable and to step in and say something to defend her privacy, but he's not even looking at her. And I can't even imagine like how that must have felt.
No, horrible.
Oh my God. I would have felt like defeated.
Yeah.
Like I would have broke right there. Lucy feels like she's being interrogated and she's humiliated. Lord Davenport asks her if she can do her math tables. And can you please prove it for me, please? Hazelby tries to step in, but Davenport says it's all about breeding. The future of the family lies in her womb. We have a right to know what we're getting. Think of the ramifications if she can't even do something as simple as basic multiplication.
Oh, God.
What will the finances look like?
Yeah.
No.
How much is she going to spend on the house?
We don't know.
Jeez.
She can't read.
She can read.
She can do her maths too.
Yeah.
To prevent Davenport from speaking again, she starts reciting the multiples of 7. And she thinks to herself, what if I fuck it up? Will he call off the marriage? Deem me unsuitable? And she does. She fucks it up on purpose. And no one notices. She rebelled for the first time in her life and no one noticed. Hazelby gives her a small smile though. And he's like, well done. Like, good job.
Yeah.
That was really good. Flawless. She thinks about how he's not even that bad. He really wasn't that bad. And if it wasn't for Gregory, she would have thought him a rather fine choice. And his personality was perfectly fine. She just wished for something else. Then Davenport asks how her time at Miss Moss's was. And he's like, that place is the shit. They know what a girl should and should not know. All this time while he's prattling on about this and that, Lucy is thinking about literally anywhere else that she'd rather be. Paris in 2024 watching the Olympics.
Literally.
Venice, Greece. Although wasn't Greece at war? Doesn't matter. It would still be better than here. Lord Davenport can tell that she's not paying attention, so he slams his fist onto the table, causing the silverware to rattle. And even Aunt Harriet looked up from her food.
Oh, no.
Don't disturb Aunt Harriet.
No, leave her alone.
Let her eat her dinner.
Let her eat her dinner. She's hungry.
And this is when he reveals that he was responsible for sending her to Miss Moss's, which she did not know. He said he had to do something. She had no mother. How else would she learn how to be a countess?
True. No, I'm joking.
She thinks the quickest way out of this conversation is to thank him for sending her to Miss Moss's because she had enjoyed herself. She liked it very, very much, and it was lovely, and she was extremely happy. And he's like, it's not about what makes you happy. And then Hazelby steps in and says, what is it about then? He's getting pissed, and you can really tell that he is like a nice and genuine and sweet guy.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for him in this moment.
I agree.
Okay.
We don't know his situation yet.
Yeah. He's got a lot of going on too. Davenport said, it's about what one learned and who one's friends were. You got to make friends.
Connections.
We got to make connections.
Get connected for free with education connection.
Hazelby.
Yeah, with HSELBSY. That's all right.
And Hazelby tells his father, she will only become Tess when you die, so it won't matter to you, will it?
True.
And Lucy's jaw hits the floor. The Earl is getting angry, and then Hazelby's like, fine weather we're having, right? And it's like storming and dreary and not good.
Yeah.
Lord Davenport is about to explode, and so Uncle Robert steps in and starts talking about the wedding, which diffuses the situation, unfortunately. I kind of wanted to see where that was going to go.
Same.
They talk about Hermione's wedding. Lucy had never felt so miserable when Hermione left for her honeymoon. but she reminds herself she'll be back for her wedding. Hermione would be her only attendant, and Richard was to give her away. In the meantime, she
Sounds
had
like my worst nightmare.
Yeah, and in the meantime, she had Aunt Harriet for company.
And she was like trying to be optimistic about it. It was really adorable.
Yeah, she was just gonna have to make the best of it. There was nothing else to do. No sense in remaining miserable. Might as well look on the bright side. She starts thinking about all the ways things could be worse, but Gregory keeps coming to mind and all the ways things could be better.
True.
And that's where we're leaving off for this week. That's the end of part 1.
Nice.
Wow.
Good. I am high.
Me too. We're almost done.
Okay. Let's do this.
Okay,
What is it? Quote of the week?
Okay. Okay, what's your quote of the
Okay,
week?
what's my quote of the week?
Yeah.
It was one of 2. So I liked Lucy was a little bit less, or perhaps if one wanted to be nicer, put a nicer sheen on it, she was simply not quite. When she was comparing herself to Hermione.
Okay.
It's not a happy quote. It makes me feel sad.
Okay, say it again, because
like,
I read that from the perspective of Gregory for some reason, so I misinterpreted it all.
Yeah, no, this is from Lucy.
Okay.
Lucy was a little bit less, or perhaps if one wanted to put a nicer sheen on it, she was simply not quite.
Not quite.
Oh, yeah. And then the other one was, I don't torture her because I like to, he said in a rather instructing sort of tone. I do it because it is necessary. To whom? To all of Britain, he said. Trust me.
That is such a good one.
I loved it.
Was that in this week's?
It was, yeah. Okay. So fuck off. Okay. But yes.
I just felt like we would have.
I should double check, actually.
Somebody would have mentioned that quote. That was a good one. Like while we were doing the recap. Someone would have said it. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it isn't part 2.
We'll find out next week. I wrote like 5 down. One is Lucy always ate like a sailor at breakfast. That is so funny. Oh, do you torment your sisters? Mostly just the younger one because she's smaller. Because she's smaller? No, because she deserves it. Is that what you said?
No,
yours was different, which is so funny.
I do think it is in part 1 because he says it. I know he says it while they're in, not in London.
When they're in
Kent.
London.
Yeah, while they're in Kent. God, I'm making me nervous.
Okay, my next quote.
What is it?
Usually she managed to hide her ferocious appetite by dallying at the breakfast table, then getting another serving once the first wave of guests had departed. She's got it all figured out.
I love that for her.
Okay, I think that. Oh, another one. I think Anthony said it. I simply refuse to deal with idiots. It has cut my social obligations in half.
I did love that one too.
That was a good one.
Good for him.
Oh, yeah.
And that's so good.
Who would you be?
I would be probably like one of the maids that like keeps fetching them from different places.
Okay. I picked Aunt Harriet, so I don't know if mine's better or worse.
Yours is better for sure. A half deaf woman.
That's true.
Amazing.
Who would you want to be?
Wow. Probably, you know what? This is going to be a controversial one.
Violet?
No. Who would I want to be? It's a controversial one. Hermione Watson.
Why?
Because, first of all, she's ethereal looking. She's like fucking evil. What are those called? Not fairies. Elves. Elvish. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay, got it. You said Evil. You mixed up all the letters.
My dyslexic Jen, tell me the truth.
I don't know what the symptoms are.
He's like elvish. She's like elvish.
Okay. All right.
she's basically elvish, like in like a real land world. Like I think about, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's like Flora Delacour. She's part Vila.
She's part Vila. That's not, so I would like that.
I want to be part Vila.
And also like I would kind of like, you know, to have all options at any time I wanted. This is I just like her position.
She's in a good spot.
She's in a good spot. She
To
can
play
flutter
the
for
field.
whoever she wants.
Yes.
And
Okay.
she's getting them.
I put Kate.
Okay.
Okay, she's having so much fun sending all those couples off. And also,
Matchmaker City.
yeah, and also adulterer center of adultery.
Yeah.
Center.
The center of adultery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are they getting away with this?
I don't know. Someone needs to call the police.
I think Anthony trained for a little bit. Anyways, I don't know.
No, he didn't.
No, he wanted to be a doctor, according to me.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. All right. Favorite character.
My favorite character is probably either Kate or Lucy.
Okay. I picked Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kate or
Yeah.
Lucy.
Yeah. She's so optimistic about everything.
And
so positive.
I love her at her nervous energy.
Yeah, me
She's
too.
like a super sweet chihuahua. She's super adorable, you know. I like her a lot.
Me too. Who's your least favorite character?
Hermione and Richard. Genuinely. What? Who else is there?
Lauren Davenport.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. No,
Stand
yeah,
by
no,
it.
because I do stand by it. Because here's why. Here, I'll tell you exactly why I stand by
Okay.
it. And I'm going to say Richard as my locked-in answer.
Okay.
Because I think it's already been established that he took over like being the lord of whatever, or the earl or whatever
right.
whatever they oversee.
Their earldom.
Like a year or two ago. So he's already took his place as head of the household, which
That's
means
true.
he could have stopped the marriage, like this contracted marriage between I mean, if he's the head of the household, he gets end say. So he should have been able to stop this betrothal between Hazelby and
with a snap of the finger.
pretty
Easier
much
than that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because he didn't even have the wherewithal or care to recognize that his sister did not want to be arranged in an arranged marriage, and didn't just try to encourage her into it and like convince himself that she was just surprised. And he could have stopped all of it, and I stand by. And then
They'd never say anything like that.
And then he decided to compromise her best friend.
Yeah.
Which I also think that's shitty too, because she is like fluttering for everyone, right? And we know this, but she's also 18. To be fair, he's only like 23 or something, 24 or something like that.
Very young.
But she's 18. She's young. She is just for the first time experiencing like this male attention, because she's only ever been in an all-girls school for the last 3 years. Like while she's been going through like the throes of all of that.
16, 17, 18.
Yeah. And on top of that, she's just vulnerable because her heart is otherwise engaged, and he took her off to go to a private area to probably put the moves on her, which he has been cultivating for years and years and years after going to college and all these different places. Well, he's laid the groundwork too by being brothers and using that as a position of trust, because Hermione had always trusted him because he's always been like
a brotherly
Lucy's
figure.
Brother. And then he put the moves on her.
Dude, that is so dark and twisted.
And it feels dark and twisted. So Richard, for me, is the villain.
Wow, Richard, what are you doing? That's your sister.
Well, because he can't even hold a conversation with his so-called sister without bringing up her best friend and
That's
whether
true.
or not, like, what she'd look pretty in on her sister's wedding
Yeah,
day.
you better be careful, because she's going to outshine your ass, ugly ass sister.
That is a dark place to go with it.
It is. Oh my
I
God.
feel it.
Yeah, if you feel it.
Okay, who is yours? Oh, Lord Davenport.
Hazelport. Lord Davenport. He's the worst. I thought he was going to die at the end of this. Spoiler alert, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So next week we're finishing up the Bridgerton series.
Fuck yeah.
We are going to rate our like top 3 drinks. I wrote them all down for you during the Bridgerton series.
Oh, okay.
What we
okay.
drank, our favorite drinks were.
And then we're also gonna rate their dick sizes. And then
I forgot about that.
Then we're also
wait, we're gonna like rate like their dick sizes. Like, this one's 3 and this one's 4.5. How do you rate that?
Yeah, I won't rate it. Yeah.
Rate my dick size.
What we're gonna actually rate though our favorite couples.
Yes.
And then also our favorite books. That's gonna be 2 different ratings.
Okay, couples and books. I'm gonna write that down. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do those 2 things, and then our drinks. Yeah. And then we're gonna debate the final. Of this,
and whether what we like and
competition.
what we don't.
Yeah. I have a lot of notes.
Okay, cool. I have
Yeah.
more.
Good.
Anyways, so
whose side are you on?
whose side are you on? And anyways, all right.
I'm just looking for my place. Yeah, okay.
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at litlibationspodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, and if you have any fan art or fan fiction, I still want it. Go rate and review 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
It helps us. It helps people discover us. I think that's it. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see you next week for the Bridgerton finale.
Yeah,
Here
and
at
you
Lit Libations.
you tell us what you like. What if you like?
What?
You tell us what book you like. If you like this book, even what would you rate it?
Oh yeah, drop it in the comments.
Drop it in the comments.
Facebook page. Go there. Drop it there.
Instagram, TikTok.
Comment on a random TikTok. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.